Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Four Lads Had a Dream Monday Night Live. Heartbreakers, yes, Rangers went and got the result yesterday and the performance that we very much needed. Kenny, good evening. Fresh from the gantry yesterday. Yesterday was good fun, wasn't it?
Cracking fun, mate. Thoroughly enjoyed that. Tracy, it's actually just popped up on Tracy's Facebook feed and she's just watched it. She's not one for watching these things and she thought it was absolutely brilliant. A cracking day. It really was. And a great result. And a brilliant weekend, actually. I've had a fair old time with myself. I've absolutely loved it.
Good, yeah. Tracy was actually on our Instagram, Kenny, and I quote, this is exactly what she said. She said, "Right said Fred springs to mind." So
I'll sort that out when we finish, mate. Right, don't you worry.
You will not sort her out. She will sort you
what the
hell? Davey, how are you, mate? You well?
I'm very good after yesterday, thanks. The voice is just about returned again. I couldn't have podcasted last night, I don't think, with the throat I had. It's a bit bipolar being on this, isn't it? I was really positive last Monday on here. Then last Wednesday night post-match, I was miserable as sin, and now I'm going to be smiling again. So 2 out of 3 ain't bad.
Yeah, Rangers do have a way of dictating our moods, that's for sure. Ladies and gentlemen, yesterday was a lot of fun. Davey, myself and Kenny, Davey Edgar, drove in and we were all positive of a result, Kenny. And we all tipped a Rangers victory. I tipped a high scoring Rangers victory. I don't know why I fancied a 3-0, 4-1 kind of job yesterday. That's what I said on the way here. I didn't think it would be a tight game. Hearts were very good. It was a great advert for Scottish football. I thoroughly enjoyed it. But I thought Rangers were excellent in spells. Not without errors and things, Kenny, but thoroughly enjoyable game of football. I love being on the gantry with you, mate. It was rather good fun. But let's talk about the first half. We lost a couple of really poor goals. I think that's the best way to start.
Yeah, the first goal, we mentioned it on the vlog. It was a carbon copy of the goal we lost against Bruges, if you remember. And you don't want to see goals like that in big games at all. And it's just a switching off. It's just a lack of communication, a switching off of concentration. And to be fair, the Hearts have played it very well and buried it, but it's a gift. It's an absolute gift. And I said, as I say, yesterday, I felt that what you were doing there is giving them the initiative, giving them the momentum, when we'd actually started quite well. And all of a sudden, you find yourself a goal down with a little bit of a mountain to climb. And, well, fair play to that team. And to go to what you were saying about being a cracking game, fair play to both sides, actually, because they both come out to win the game. All credit to Hearts for making such a cracking game of it and such an entertaining game. And as you say, brilliant advert for the game up here. But I want to see that stop, Stevie, from here on in. I don't want us gifting goals to anybody. If teams are going to score, I want them to work their backsides off for it. I don't want them to be given easy opportunities like that. And it's disappointing that we've still got that in us. But the only thing I would say is that we are getting better. And each and every time that we play, I think you can see a little bit more of what Danny Röhl's trying to do. So keep focus, keep the concentration, and kindly stop gifting goals like that, because it's no good for my old ticker, mate. That's the fact of it.
Yeah, Davey, it wasn't good defending on either goal. We'll get the negatives out of the way for that. First goal, Fernandes and Raskin. We've literally seen a carbon copy, as Kenny talks about, against Bruges. It was nightmares replayed. The second goal, Suter just gets caught so flat-footed. We don't defend the cross. Is there a hint of offside about it when he goes through? Possibly, but again, we don't defend it well. Our back line is all misshapen. It's 2 poor goals to lose. I feel like we should talk about that first, because there's so much positives. Get the negatives out of the way yesterday. in terms of the goals we lost were disappointing. And Danny said, I think in his press conference, Kenny, that it was two gifts. So we gifted them that, and that's the negatives out the way for us, Davey, I think.
Yeah, for me, the first goal was far more of a negative than the second one was. The first goal was just really poor football, let's be honest. Fernandes played a blind pass to a player with his back to him. It's just an absolutely stupid thing to do. 3 Hearts players on top of the ball straight away. It was a terrible goal to lose.
Who's at fault there, Davey? Who's at fault there?
Raskin shouldn't be turning his back on the ball, without doubt. But at the same time, Fernandes had time to look up and see that the pass wasn't on. So I struggle to blame one more than the other. But what I will say is that I thought there was a wee 10-15 minute spell just about then that Raskin couldn't do anything right for 10 or 15 minutes. He passed the ball at the park 2 or 3 times. They lost the ball 2 or 3 times when he shouldn't have done. He came on a game later on, but he had this little spell in the first half. He was pretty poor. So getting the negatives out of the way, I'll throw that in as well. I actually don't blame the defence too much for the second goal, if I'm honest with you. I think it was a tremendous header. I think very few players would have scored with that header. I thought Braga took it really, really well. Big Suter should probably win it. He's bigger and more physically commanding than him. He should probably win a header. He was probably not tight enough on him. But sometimes you've got to say a player took a goal really well, and I thought he took that really well. But what I will say, getting rid of the negatives, is that, yes, we gave 2 bad goals away, but we scored equalisers at the absolutely perfect time twice. And we're probably going to talk about the atmosphere at Ibrox later on, and I think the timing of the goals we scored really helped in terms of the way the atmosphere built, the way the game went on.
Yeah, definitely going to talk about Ibrox. Right, positives. Definitely positive, Kenny, in that we responded really quickly to going behind, and it was a really good equaliser. Once again, Tuur Rommens, and we will talk about him. He really has been a fantastic addition. He goes down the left, plays a 1-2 with Mikey Moore, and crosses in for what is a good header by Chermiti. Goalie was a bit flamboyant. He made a bit of an arse of it, to be honest. He's played it back. Mikey Moore stops it, and it's played in. We thought Nadiri had poked it in the game. We thought that he'd done that, but it just turned out that the guy just sclaffed it right into his own net. Yeah, just a good moment to score straight away. It gets everybody back playing and everybody on side again. Yeah,
I said that to you right after we'd scored, didn't I? That is the perfect time to score, because we're all deflated in there. It was people were getting a little bit tetchy because of the manner of the goal we had lost, and literally 2 minutes later, you went up the park, good pressure and good work from Tuur Rommens, as you say. But it's just pressurising. It's 2 strikers in the box, mate. That's what helps. And yeah, but as you say, I couldn't believe it when they told me it was an own goal, because I was like, hang on a minute, I watched him kick it in, but he didn't. It was the I can't remember the boy's name now, something Steinwinder or something like that, who put it in his own net. But perfect time to score, Stevie. But it was one of those situations where it just highlights what we have needed. And this is no disrespect to Magoma, but that power and that drive to get down that wing and get to that byline and cut that ball back, we've been missing that an awful lot this season. And I thought he was sensational again yesterday, Tuur Rommens. Absolutely fantastic, and settled in like a duck to water, isn't he? He's just turned up, and yeah, he's a terrific signing, and he had a terrific game yesterday. But the perfect time to score, Stevie, because the crowd got a massive lift from it. It was great, actually.
Yeah, and then Davey, again, scoring right before half-time, just 5 minutes before half-time, was the perfect thing to do. Again, Rangers work it from their own box, just like they did with the last one. Skov Olsen, they get clear, and it works its way to Mikey Moore. He plays the ball to Chermiti. We do get the break of the ball, but then he finishes it. It reminded me of Kuzan for some reason. That type of finish that nobody really expect them to go that side. It's a really good finish. And in the first of, he was the big man. We'll talk about the big man, but it was a good finish, that's for sure.
I think the last time I was on this podcast was post-match last Wednesday night, and I think I said something like, "Sure, there's no way Chermiti's going to play on Sunday." So I'm surprised you actually bothered inviting me back on here tonight, because I obviously don't talk very much sense at times. What I will say about, just very briefly go back to the first goal. I think one of the big things about the first goal was when Rommens hit the byline. He had 2 strikers in the 6-yard box and another player just outside the 6-yard box. He actually had 3 players right in front of goal. You talked about the Hearts goalkeeper was a bit flamboyant. I think he knew if he just touched it down and he just made the save, if he didn't try and push it out for goal, Rangers had a couple of players standing just about on top of him. The system we played had 2 strikers in the box, which I'm sure we'll talk about later on. As far as the second goal is concerned, I can see the Kuzan comparison, actually. He did get the break of the ball without doubt. But he tucked it away really well. After me saying all season he hasn't a clue what to do inside the penalty box, then he showed he actually does know what to do inside the penalty box. And perfect timing. I think to be fair, 2 each was probably fair in the first half. I think probably at the time I would have said at half time I would take that. Been behind twice and getting level. And then I thought we. The last half hour especially, we really kicked on.
Yeah, that's for sure. We definitely did. Kenny, so goes in stalemate at half time. Really good game. Really enjoying it. But we don't start that well in the second half. This is a weird thing, and people can correct me if I'm wrong. I don't remember Butland having much to do yesterday. He had a couple of saves which he maybe got down low. I don't remember him having anything to do in the second half. He punched one clear, which Jerry Gassama got onto for the 4th goal, but genuinely I don't remember. Hearts maybe had most of the ball at times for the first 10 minutes, but I don't remember them having any control like in the final third. I don't remember pressurising. I don't remember anything like that coming on, really. But Rangers very quickly go 3-2 in the lead. And it was perfectly timed, actually. This is a wonderful goal. We don't really give it credit at the time. So much good work from Raskin, Sterling. Skov Olsen gets clear. Why Hearts left him clear like that, I'll never know. Leave him clear on the right-hand side. He floats across in, and it's a wonderful header by Yusuf Chermiti, who meets it flush on. Perfectly timed. What a cross it is by Skov Olsen. It's a smashing goal.
It's the pick of the bunch for me, actually. We worked the ball really, really well. We're really patient. We were back and forward, left and right. We eventually get it out. Right, as you say, Raskin plays it down to Sterling, and there's a wee 1-2, and all of a sudden, Skov Olsen, who's also involved, gets that space to drive towards the box, puts it on a sixpence, as they used to say, and it is an unbelievable header. It's the height he gets up. It's the direction on it. Dare I say, Hateley-esque, I might do. But it was very reminiscent of just that powered header that you used to see back in the day. An absolutely phenomenal goal and a genuinely terrific finish. Just to go back to his first goal as well, when you watch back on his first touch, when the ball breaks him, it is a magnificent first touch. It really is, because all he does is knocks it a yard, gets it out his feet so that he can just take it in stride and hit it first time. Absolutely cracking. And we sat yesterday, Stevie, giggling all the way through big Yusuf Chermiti. We really did. Off camera, we just howled at him all day. But and we weren't convinced, and certainly you weren't convinced when we were talking in the build-up about him starting. I actually liked the idea of the 2 up top, just to see how it worked. And I think it worked up to a point. I think the 2 of them both had decent games. But for me, it's a tremendous goal. And I was, a quick point I would like to say, I was delighted for Skov Olsen, because that's a cracking cross. You could see the relief on his face that he's contributing. And see thereafter for Scott Wilson, that's one thing I'd like to say. See the defensive work he put in until he went off. It was absolutely fantastic. And every single one of our new signings I've added to the squad, but delighted for big Yusuf Chermiti. Absolutely incredible goal. And delighted, as I say, for Andrew Scott Wilson, because you can tell he wants to do well here, and it's great to see. And I just can't praise that goal enough. I think the patience we've shown, the passing to get round Hearts, and I think you could see it very quickly again, guys, is that you could see that we were pulling Hearts about and all over the place. They were struggling to keep up with us because we were passing the ball so quickly in that move. And to get the rewards for it was brilliant. And Ibrox absolutely went nuts, didn't it, guys?
It was. Ibrox was certainly alive yesterday, that's for sure. It was actually a wonderful atmosphere to be in. It was a brilliant moment, Davey. That header, we'll stick with it just for a minute or two, but I think it deserves a credit. It was what a cross it was, pinpoint, and it allows Chermiti just to move on to it. And we'll talk about Chermiti in a bit, but for that goal, what a wonderful goal it was. Team move, cross, header, everything.
Oh, there's something special about a crashing header, isn't there? They just look great. I don't know if you don't see it as often as you used to in our day, Kenny. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe us golden oldies that used to be brought up in Derek Johnson and Mark Hateley and stuff like that. The height he got up, I thought was pretty impressive as well. I mean, his head looked about 10 foot off the ground when he put it in. It reminded me a little bit of remember Tillman scored this goal against, was it Union San Giloas a few years ago?
Yeah.
He seemed to be about 5 foot off the ground when he scored it. It reminded me a bit of that. He looked miles up in there. There'll be all these cartoons coming out about him in the space shuttle and stuff like that. There was that last time. And again, Scott Wilson, I think I need to mention him. I actually said in our group chat at half-time I was a bit disappointed in him. And I think I got that wrong in terms of what I was expecting. Because when I look at the game now and I've watched the highlights back and stuff, he wasn't really playing as an out-and-out winger what I was expecting him to be. The width was coming for Sterling. He was coming inside as a more sort of right side of number 10, and he was letting Sterling go up the outside him. And I was a bit critical of the fact he wasn't taking players on, but what he was really doing is he was occupying defenders, he was pulling them inside, and he was leaving space outside for somebody else. So I think I owe him a bit of an apology for what I was ranting about at half time. He's a player, and that was a cracking cross, and it got the header that it deserved, which and the big man get his second goal, and I'm sure we will talk about him later on, but I don't know what odds you got in a Chermiti hat-trick yesterday, but I wish the hell I'd put a pound on it.
Yeah, it would have been big odds, that's for sure. I wouldn't have given the odds on it. Fourth goal then. I don't ever feel like Rangers are in danger. Mikey Moore has a shot that goes over the bar. We probably have all the pressure. Ant-Man had a half volley, I think, the edge of the box. We just went wide. I think, Kenny, we both thought that was in. And then the fourth goal comes, and Hearts have a long throw. It goes into the box. Jack Butland punches it away. Jerry Gassama gets onto it. Magnificent run by Jerry Gassama. And he finds Gassama at the back post, who takes a touch and rifles it in. And that was, I had to laugh because I was praising Jerry Gassama last week, saying I really like him as a player, and then he has a terrible time at Motherwell, and criticising Yusuf Chermiti because I don't fancy him in the slightest. And then he's the one that's on the end of the good play for Gassama for his hat-trick. We will talk about both of them, but again, lovely play by Jerry Gassama. He's just happier on the left. He's just more comfortable there. And it's a lovely touch by Yusuf Chermiti. And we've seen him do this before. Was there a bit of trepidation from me thinking, is he going to finish? And then he just does rifle at home. Lovely moment. And that kind of set off the good atmosphere, the couple of minutes that were left, and then the end of the match as well, which the players deserved that. So wonderful moment from Yusuf Chermiti. And a wonderful moment for us as well, Kenny, in the gantry. It was good.
It was. A few things about this that I didn't notice at the time because I was too busy hugging you and stuff, mate. But tremendous run from Jada Gassama. It really is a tremendous run. And he commits players. And that's probably at this minute in time, now that we're down to a game a week, Danny Röhl will obviously chop and change slightly. But I'd like to see him come on as a sub, as an impact player, because with that pace, when players are tired, if they're on bookings and stuff like that, he can terrorise folk with the pace he's got just by being that way that he was for that goal, which was direct. Because sometimes I think he's not quite as direct. He want to cut inside, he want to do certain things, whereas when he's seen the space, and he's seen the space really early on his own 18-yard line, he just went and ran into the space and just kept going. As I say, committing men, taking them out of the game. It's also something that's not overly getting talked about, but the pass, the weight of the pass to Chermiti is absolutely perfect. And Big Chermiti just takes one touch and bangs it in the corner. And it shows you you look at Wednesday, as Davey says, we were raging about the miss in Wednesday, where you can genuinely tell as he's lining it up, he's not going to score, he's not quite sure what side to hit it at, so he's just get his head down and laces through it and hit it straight at the keeper. But with this, even as the ball's coming, you can see him shape up. He knows exactly what he wants to do with that. I'm tucking that way in the corner. So that's brilliant. Absolutely tremendous finish. Big lad's got a hat-trick again. I keep saying it because I can't quite believe it, but he's got a hat-trick. And what I noticed about the celebrations when I've watched them back is that the players really do like that kid. They really do. They were also, James Tavernier was brilliant after every goal. I don't know if you noticed this, guys, even when before he come on with the goals, celebrating with the players and wee words in their ear. And that I liked the way our captain was, whatever he was saying, the players were loving it because you could see the big beaming smiles. And it, as I say, just it topped a remarkable game off and a perfect result for us. And to get the 4 goals, and I'm like you, I didn't feel overly concerned at all in any way about what Hearts were doing. I thought we had pretty much nullified them at all. I think it was 7 shots at goal in the entire game, Stevie, but I don't remember Jack Butland bar 1 or 2 strikes outside the box that weren't particularly well hit. I don't remember him having to do much at all. And as I say, to turn up and play as well as we did, because that for me was probably as well as Rangers have played under Danny Röhl yesterday. I think so. I wouldn't, in fact, I'm certain of it when I think about it, for me anyway, that's the best performance we've had. It's not a complete performance. We've still got loads to improve on, cut out the mistakes and all the rest of it. But the tempo that we played at, with the drive and the commitment, everything about it kind of epitomised in that one move where, as we say, just that punch out, Jack Butland being absolutely dominant in his 6-yard box, getting out, Gassama seeing the run, and Chermiti making the run with him and finishing it with aplomb. Absolutely fantastic. And I must admit, I did celebrate that quite a lot.
Yeah, we certainly did, Davey. Lovely way to finish the game. What a nice moment. Ibrox was very good video, which Blair took from Rangers Review of the reaction of the Copeland. Lovely moment and a brilliant way to finish the game.
Oh yeah, Ibrox was bouncing after that 4th goal. It was wonderful. There's not been an atmosphere like that for quite a while. What I think something I would add, I might kind of add to what Kenny's talking about, bringing Gassama on late on. I thought it was really good that he brought on Gassama and Ant-Man and didn't bring Asgard on, which would have slowed the game down. I thought what he did was he brought on even more pace, even more direct running. Because there might have been a temptation to shut up shop a little bit at 3-2. I mean, let's be honest, in midweek we tried to shut up shop against 10 men, didn't we? We played with 5 at the back. This was completely different. We never at any time tried to hold on to what we had. We were trying to get forward. We were trying to score again. We were trying to put the game to bed. Ant-Man came on. He was direct. Gassama came on. His run was absolutely sensational. My God, he must have got the ball 25 yards from his own goal, and then it was right at the edge of the other penalty box when he played the pass to Chermiti. I think there is an argument that he might be better to come on when games are a bit more stretched and defenders are a bit more tired, because I think maybe if he gets a bit extra room, he can certainly take advantage of it. But yeah, once that goal went in, obviously I wasn't on the gantry yesterday, so I was having to sort of take about 10 guys off my back and off the top of my head before I could see what was happening. But yeah, I think there's quite a few players in that team, not just the ones that arrived in January, who have never experienced Ibrox like that before. And they must be desperate to experience it again after yesterday. And let's hope it's less than a fortnight away before they are.
Yeah, I mean, that was the benchmark. Let's talk about the atmosphere. Derek McInnes came in straight away and he said in his press conference that it gave Rangers such a boost. And that it certainly carried the team. Ibrox was fantastic yesterday, especially when we've got ahead. A couple of videos online that I put up of Ibrox Onia and stuff like that. Atmosphere was incredible, Kenny. It was nice to be involved in that one, that's for sure.
It was nice to get it on the vlog as well, but no, look, you want Ibrox to be like that. Now, it can be your average mundane Premier League game, Saturday, 3 o'clock. You know what we're like. We can sit down and basically say, right, entertain us. We can be a bit like that at times as a sport. Now, I don't know if it's anything to do with the campaign that the club have been putting out, you know, everybody for 90, all the kind of stuff that they've been saying. I don't know if that's made an impact, but you said it to me about 5-10 minutes before kickoff. It's full already. You know, people were early in. The noise before the game was cranked right up. It was Armed Forces Day. That went down well. You know, it was just everything about the atmosphere, I thought, from 15 minutes before kickoff was great. But the nature of it, I think there's a big thing about what happened yesterday with the atmosphere, because it was like an Old Firm game or a big European night when you're winning. I thought it was very much like that. But I think losing a goal, coming back, losing another goal, coming back, I think the grit and the determination for the team, as well as playing well, has galvanised every single person in the stadium, and we've all kind of got bought into it and bought into the performance. Because, as I say, I'll disagree with David slightly about the second goal. I think John Souttar should do much, much better there. I think he's wrong side. He's got to be stronger. He's got to force his way in front of Braga in any way. And if he can't do that, he's got to get on top of him. Whereas I think Braga's just pinning him in, and he can't move. And I think he's got to be stronger there. But to get back to what we were saying, it's just one of those things that I just looked at that, and you said it yourself there, Stevie, that within a minute, 30 seconds of the goal, both goals can in. There's that mighty roar that you get, and it just I think the whole thing for me yesterday was a kind of must-win for us. We've seen what happened down at Rugby Park. We all knew, and as a club, as a manager, as a team, as a support, there was a very much a unity and a oneness about it that just ended up making it very, very difficult for Hearts, I think. And as I say, I found that in the last, with the third goal, epitomised that more than anything. I think you could see with the whole crowd just getting on top and the team playing well. I think Hearts found that very, very tough yesterday, and we need it as often as we can get from here on in. Big month for us, March now, because we've got 2 games against Celtic, and I think it's 1 at home to Aberdeen, isn't it? I think that's the 3 home fixtures. We need to win all of them, and you'll see come April it'll be even louder, and that's my point. I think if we can keep this momentum, you're just going to see Ibrox in its perfect state, put it that way. And there is no place. I've been to a lot of football stadiums in my time, mate, and when Ibrox is rocking, there is no place I've ever been that's like it. It is probably the most intimidating stadium you can play in when the 52,000 of us are all on top of it. So more power to the support yesterday. I thought they were absolutely incredible. to a man, woman, and child. Absolutely phenomenal. And the scenes, I know we were taking videos, and the scenes just after the goals were just bonkers, weren't they? It was great to see.
Yeah, it certainly was. It was like a proper European night. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Boys, let's discuss the man himself, Yusuf Chermiti, Davy. Yeah, Yusuf Chermiti, what do you say?
Somebody called him an enigma earlier on. Maybe that's not a bad word for it. He still only got 7 goals in the league all season. The crazy thing is 6 of them are against Hearts and Celtic. What do I make of him? I was reading an article on the BBC website today about him, and apparently I'm not a great believer in this XG thing, but his XG in the league this year is actually just over 5. So he's actually outperforming what the chances he's actually had, according to that, which I think tells you how rarely he has been in the penalty box over the course of the season, where he actually should be. I think without doubt it helped him a great deal yesterday having someone else to take the load beside him up front. You know, I've banged on about 2 up front a lot this season. I've talked a few times about I didn't think any of the 3 strikers we had at the start of the season, none of them particularly were ideal leading the line. They all needed a partner for one reason or another. I think Chermiti needs somebody beside him, because I think if somebody else does a lot of the chasing and the harrying and the pressing, it lets him actually be more of a centre forward and actually get into positions better than he does when he's leading the line himself. I've already mentioned on Wednesday night I could not have been more critical of him. I basically was saying he couldn't hit a barn door. I just thought he was absolutely hopeless. He completely proved that comment wrong. But the key now is, if that's what he's capable of, please don't go back to being what we were watching too often before that. Because if you can do that against the better teams, you should be able to do it against them all. Let's just hope he's going to turn into 2010, 2011 Kyle Lafferty and turn into this goal machine to win the last 10 games of the season, because if he does that, he could still be an absolute hero.
Kenny, Yusuf Chermiti?
Yes. I'm actually at a loss to know much about what to say about him, because you see that yesterday, and he had a hat-trick, Stevie, and you know as well as I do that about 30 seconds before his first goal, I was cursing this kid like you wouldn't believe, because he was down. I'm not saying he was play acting, because I don't actually think he was, but even his own players were turning around and screeching at him, "Get up!" So get up, and then he gets up, scores a goal. The thing about him, I was listening to Josh Abari this morning, and he actually said he's only played about 1,100 minutes. And his XG is the 4th highest in the league. I can't remember who it is. I think Negrin Maswanisi, and I can't remember who it was. The other one was, and then it's him. And they're all really quite similar. And it's because he's only played about 1,100 minutes in the league this season. But we're watching, and I don't know. I've thought about this today because I knew we were going to talk about it. I don't know if we're judging him an awful lot on the sense that we haven't seen him much in the league, as we say, but our European form as a team has been absolutely rotten all the entire campaign. And I don't know if it was just down to him or just the entire team. Do you know what I mean? And then you're looking at it and you're thinking, I wonder if the team itself, being such a young side with the start that we had, has just been a little bit not ready for that level of football, and he's been the striker that's caught the brunt of that. I don't know, because then I look at certain things that he does or he has done, which invariably is when he has had a chance, he's just rammed it right down the keeper's throat. He's not managing to pick a corner and hit it, kind of stuff. But what I will say is that when you look at him and you kind of see what he is capable of, as Davey said there, it's the power, it's the pace, it's the technical ability that he clearly has. It's the finishing that is the one thing that, for me, actually, at this moment in time, that is perhaps letting him down. not yesterday, obviously, but perhaps that's what it is. But everything else can be coached. And I think that's why Kevin Thelwell did look at him and say to Russell Martin at the start of the season, or before the season started, we can actually go and get this kid. In a year or two, this boy could be very, very special. And I can actually, I've not been as big a critic as others like you, Stevie, I've got to say about him, because I think he is a very young kid that has got a huge amount to learn in the game. And Rangers invariably is not a football club that you can come and learn your trade at. You have to be winning every week. So I think that's part of his has been part of his problem as well. But it's all there for the kid. And Davey's absolutely right. If he can show us that he's capable of effectively having 3 chances yesterday and burying all 3 of them, then we need to see much, much more of it. But listen, the potential in the kid is massive. I mean, it's clearly massive. And I know you're not the biggest fan of him, Stevie, in terms of you're struggling to see it, but I genuinely can see that there is something there in this boy. Whether he's going to get, the 2, 3, 4 years to become that Ibrox legend, but it's very similar, and not to the same level, so don't get me wrong. But Alan McCoist, when he first turned up, was a very similar age, and he could not hit a barn door at times in the first 2 or 3 seasons he was here. So patience, everybody, I think is going to be required. I think that's what I would say. We're going to have to need to be quite patient with him.
I would love nothing more than Yusuf Chermiti to start banging in goals on a regular basis and shut me up. I would love it. I would absolutely love it. Whether or not he's going to, I'm not so sure. He is a frustrating player for me. He still doesn't make runs. He still doesn't get near the box enough. Yesterday was the first time I've really seen him attack the ball. So good on him for that. I hope he continues. He is a young lad. And he's made a few mistakes. Everybody makes mistakes, I think. But, I would love nothing more than him to go and really kick on in his Rangers career. So let's hope he does. It can't be 6 weeks between goals, though. That's the thing for our striker, for our 9. He can't be, 2 goals at Parkhead, hat-trick yesterday, and then we wait until April for his next goals. He's got to follow it up by going getting goals at Livingston and stuff like that. That's the big thing for Yusuf Chermiti. He is a young boy. I appreciate that. Yet to be convinced, but I see some promise in him, but he needs to do it more often. And he needs to be around the box like he was yesterday. He had a part in all 4 goals, so good on him. We will make money on him, bizarrely, or not. He could make himself a hero. He could fire Rangers to the title, but I'm yet to be convinced. What I will say is, of the 4 new signings, I think the 4 new signings look excellent. Tuur Rommens is just excellent at left back. Chukwueze, brilliant energy in midfield. Skov Olsen on the right, really getting up to speed as well. And Ryan Naderi, I think, is an excellent forward. So we've done really well in January. A lot of credit to Andrew Kavanagh, a lot of credit to Dan Purdy and the scouting team. We pulled off what really has given us a bit of a boost, which makes Motherwell and not select him even more frustrating. I understand we don't know things and everything else. I get it. Davey, of those 4, they've really settled in well. Rommens looks a cracking player.
Oh, he really impresses me. I'm sure he impresses more than just me. All the things you want in a sort of modern fullback, really, isn't he? He's strong, he's solid in the tackle, he's quick, he gets forward, he gets back, he can cross a ball, he won't get bullied. And I think he's got a wee bit of a wee nasty streak in him, actually. I think he's got this little competitive streak in him, which I think every Rangers team needs a few of them in the team. He looked as if he was fair enjoying himself yesterday in the sort of physical side of it and giving out every bit as much as he was getting. I think he was loving it. I think he looks really suited to our football. McComas actually been a decent signing, and he's just 19 or something. He's done well, but you can see Rommens is a real upgrade in the boy. he's got to play for he's got to be first choice for the rest of the season. And Kenny mentioned it earlier on, the fact he'll get very few, if any, midweek games for a long time now. The fact that you've got the team in the training pitch for 5 days during the week can only help. If we can avoid too many injuries, then I don't see the reason why there needs to be too much chopping and changing in the team going forward. We've found a system that I think is going to score goals. We've got 4 new players that have all improved the team. Play them. Play them. Play an attacking system. We'll go out to win. I thought the big thing yesterday, we talked about the atmosphere and everything, but it takes 2 things to make an atmosphere. It takes the crowd and it takes the team. And I think the team played their part yesterday. Danny Röhl played a team that tried to win the game. He was positive in his approach to it. The team were up for it. They competed for the first minute. All that stuff gets the crowd going as well. But Rommens, I think Rommens, I think the 4 of them have all looked as if they've improved us, but I think he's the one that's hit the ground running in the most impressive way so far.
Kenny, 4 really good signings. I like them all. I think Skov Olsen played a big part yesterday. I think Rommens is excellent from left back. I think Skov Olsen is getting better. Tukwani is just a bundle of energy, powerful. Ryan Nadiri looks very much like the part. I am really impressed with the 4 of them, and that was always going to be difficult. Big parts to play. Who's standing out? Who do you like the look of? Let's talk about those 4.
All of them. I'm going to be honest. I think all of them have came in. It's very noticeable that, and as we say, glossing over Motherwell, very noticeable that yesterday all 4 started. That's a sign of intent, actually, from Danny Röhl, that he is earmarked these players. The club have earmarked these players because they know they're going to make us better, and that's difficult for somebody like Derek McInnes, who has never, come up against any of these 4 players. What I really like, the boys talked about it, and I was going to mention it anyway, but at the 3rd goal, one of the Hearts defenders trips Tuur Rommens up just an instant before the goal, and he gets up, and he's not celebrating, he's turning around and giving it like that to the Hearts player right in his face. It's fantastic. But he's, as I say, he's just come in and fit like a glove for me at left back. He reminds me, and that is the highest praise, but he does remind me of like a Davy Robertson and an Arthur Newman in terms of the ability. And it's kind of weird because we were told that he wasn't the type that was going to get forward overly. But look at him, he's up and down the park like a man possessed. He's absolutely phenomenal. Chakwani has come in, and that physical presence, the amount of times that he's just sticking about and breaking things up is phenomenal. He's been very, very good. Nadiri has come in, and by goodness, he has worked his backside off. He got himself a couple of goals and already contributed massively to the performance yesterday. And he, with all respect to Danilo or Miovski there, is a massive upgrade. So we've got 2 proper strikers there with Miovski, who is a very capable player, sitting as a 3rd choice striker now. Skov Olsen, as I say, for me, he's clearly not been fully match fit. So he's not got that much sharpness. So you're finding that he's getting that. What I really liked there, as I say, when in the second half, in particular, when he was down on our side and I was watching him, Stevie, his positional play was absolutely spot on, particularly off the ball. The amount of times that he was finger pointing and directing other people when he was leading the first line of defence, effectively when it was coming down that side. I thought his work rate off the ball was absolutely brilliant yesterday. I thought he ran himself into the ground for the team. And as I say, he got his reward yesterday for the work rate by getting the assist for the 3rd goal. And once he is fully capable, I've got that feeling that living in a plastic pitch might not be the most ideal place for him to be playing. But another game and another 2 weeks, and I would fully expect to see an absolutely fully fit Scott Olsen and up and ready for this double header against Celtic. And by goodness, if he's on form, we have a player on our hands, Stevie. But all four of them have come in and been an upgrade. Put it that way. That's what I would say, genuinely. And it's no disrespect to anybody else. I just think that all four of them are, from here on in, pretty much certain starters, in my eyes anyway, for the remainder of the campaign.
Davey?
Hard to disagree with that. I think I was talking about Chukwueze last Monday. The thing I like about him most is that he very rarely has to launch himself into a tackle because he reads the game really well. I think that Connor Barron was playing really well before he got injured, but I think one of the big differences you can see between the two of them, apart from their physicality, which is the most obvious one, is the fact that I think Barron's positional sense isn't quite as good as Chukwueze's, and he has to launch himself into tackles to win the ball back, whereas the new guy just seems to just walks in and just take it off people because he's got there before them. I'm really impressed with him, and I think in this system that we're playing, just with the two traditional midfield players, if you like, it'd be interesting to see, once Barron and Diamandi and Raskin are all available, just what two the manager decides to go with. Because for me, the new guy is the number one choice there, and there's only one other. It's actually quite a difficult choice that Danny Röhl would have. Nadiri up front, okay, he didn't score yesterday. I don't think he actually had much of a chance to score a goal yesterday. But the amount of work he puts in, the amount of good runs that he makes, the work he does for the team, he'll get chances. And I'm pretty confident that he'll score a few goals between the end of the season. I like him as well. And Olsen's just a class football player. I think I've already made my apology for him because he isn't playing the way I was expecting. I was expecting to see this flying winger, beating 4 and 5 players down, hitting the byline and hitting crosses. And that's not the way we're set up to play. But you can see the football brain he's got. You can see he's a player that does the right thing with the ball 99 times out of 100, which is the sign of a good player. Andrew Kavanagh has played an absolute blinder in January. Our scouting team has played an absolute blinder in January. Danny Röhl has played an absolute blinder in January. We said it on 31st of December, the squad we had wouldn't win the league. They've done exactly what we needed them to do. I'm not saying they are going to win it, but by Christ, we've got a chance.
Certainly in it, that's for sure, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be a really crazy end to the season. Yesterday was brilliant. It was proper atmosphere, proper performance by Rangers as well. And quick point, I don't think Scott Olsen should have been booked yesterday. I think there's contact there. Is it a penalty? It's definitely not a yellow. So one of the ones for me. I definitely don't think he dived. I think his feet have definitely been contact. So it is what it is. I know another team who would have got it, that's for sure. Probably in about their 20th minute extra time. Kenny, pleasure. It's not full time yet. Kenny, pleasure as always, mate. Thank you very much, and thank you for your company yesterday.
No, thank you. Thoroughly enjoyed yesterday, mate. It was absolutely brilliant. I think that's probably my favourite time on the gantry yesterday. It was just a blast from start to finish. But a tremendous result for us, one that we very much needed, and I cannot wait for this run, and it's going to be so exciting. But thanks, Davey. Thanks, Stevie. I genuinely thoroughly enjoyed that tonight as well. Superb.
Davey, thank you, mate. Much appreciated.
Yeah, my pleasure. I like coming on here after Rangers have won. I like even more coming on here after Rangers have won the way they did yesterday. God knows what's going to happen between now and the end of the season. I think Folk against a 3-way title race, and I actually think it still is. When you look at the fixtures over the next few weeks, I think Hearts will get the easiest run getting up to the split. I have no idea what's going to happen, but I'm so looking forward to the game in a fortnight, and I'm so looking forward to scoring a 98th minute winner against them.
That would be nice. A little bit of poetic justice there, that's for sure. A couple of bits of housekeeping to finish off the podcast. Rangers what we're talking about. Four Lads of Dream podcast are playing Belfast on March the 28th. And tickets are £12.50. Link is in the description. If you're over in Northern Ireland, please come and see us. That would be wonderful to see everybody. Tickets are selling really well, which, to be honest, you never know how these things are going to do. So it would be brilliant to see you. Please check that out if you can. Also, if you want to become a member, please do. You can join in by using the QR code up there, which helps the podcast grow, which is really great of you. Appreciate that completely. And a huge thanks to everyone in the comments and watching, liking, subscribing on YouTube. We're well over 12,500 subs now, which is brilliant. And yeah, what's coming up during the week? Wednesday night it's myself, Chris, and Kenny back with midweek podcast. Friday night it is myself and Amrit. Andrew is away, so I am covering. Amrit is back on. God, by Friday will he have calmed down? Who knows? And then Sunday match day should be in Livingston. Hopefully get a ticket. Should be in Livingston. Bring a match day vlog, and then Sunday night as normal we'll have a Sunday show. I think this Sunday it's Rob's Corner. So yeah, Rob will be back with his team, so we'll see everybody then. So it's a bit of a full week. When are we not on? We're not on Tuesday and Thursday. The rest of the time you will find us. You will find us here. We hope you're enjoying what we do. We hope you're enjoying the content. We hope you're enjoying the podcast. We really appreciate all your support. Huge thanks to our sponsors, Rhino Express, Clayview Fire Protection and Joinery, Athol Industrial Solutions, CSD Air Conditioning, very own Amrit's Candid, and our Sunday sponsor, Local Dart Shop Online. Huge thanks to our partners as well, Black Rooster and Art of Gold. Have a great evening, folks. We will see you midweek. We will see you Wednesday night. Chris, myself, and Kenny will be back with all your latest Rangers news. Take care.
The Four Lads podcast is sponsored by Rhino Express, Clydeview Joinery, Athol Industrial Solutions Limited, and CSD Air Conditioning, in partnership with Black Rooster and Art of Gold. Thank you for listening to or watching the podcast. We hope you enjoyed the show.